Welcome everyone to Mongols Pregame'n edition. This is where we spend a few minutes getting the latest details from the team before heading into their next week. I am Mike. Joining me for this one is Hounds Coach Jon Busch. Jon, it's been a long time, in the making and getting you here. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. Just just getting ready for tomorrow.
Yeah. We haven't asked this question because obviously we haven't talked before, but you've been with the team now for over a year plus. What has it been like coming over and working with Bob and the Hounds?
It's been good. I've really enjoyed it. Obviously I've known Bob for whatever 20 however long years, and he's been trying to get me out here for a handful of years. Just never kind of lined up, and then when I came back from Scotland, it was the right time to kind of make that jump, and it's been good. I enjoy working with Bob. He holds a high standard. He keeps us on our toes and make sure we hold a high standard. So, it's good for my development as a coach. And so I've really enjoyed the last almost a year and a half, I guess now.
Your name has come up in other discussions that we've had with other people in the front office. Specifically, Dan Visser and Rob Vincent have both brought your name up in terms of you being the guy that makes the coffee. So why are you the coffee guy? What goes into a good brew?
Because no, it's not like I make some fancy special brew. It's just the fact that I get in the earliest. So,
Okay.
I love my coffee, but I'm also a morning guy. So I'm in the facility by 7:45 every day.
Nice.
So it's get in and get the coffee going kind of thing. So it's not that I have any fancy recipes or specialties. It's just I'm in there early.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, let's talk about the team a little bit. So this past weekend, Perota faced two PKs against Tulsa, saved one of them. I'm just curious, as the keeper coach, what goes through your mind when the other team is awarded a PK?
Well, we every week we have a scouting report on what we think, and if they have one specific person that goes in a specific place, or can we read how he approaches it, that sort of thing. So every Thursday, Friday, all three goalkeepers will get scouting reports, not just PKs but other things. But part of that breakdown is penalty kicks, and can we find any trends, if you will. The thing about Gabby is these guys mess around at the end of trainings and do penalty kicks quite often, and he's got a knack for reading them well and saving them. So with him specifically, and the other two as well, but specifically for him, he knows the scouting report, but at the same time, I also give these guys kind of their leeway. They're the one on the line. They're the one facing it. If they see something, if they feel something, I always tell them go with that. Just have the scouting report kind of in the back of your mind, and we'll go from there.
Fair enough. Are you like, as you watch it, are you like staring intently? Are you not watching because you're nervous? How do you feel personally in those situations?
No, I'll watch.
Yeah.
I don't mind watching them. Again, for me, it's trying to find trends. So if I have something written down in my notebook, does that player go where we thought he was going to go, or did he try something different? So I'm always kind of studying it to see if we read it properly.
You mentioned trends, and this sort of segues into my next question. Obviously, some keeper rotation recently. What goes into that decision? I know, historically, sort of before you were here, keeper rotation was just sort of a tent post of a Bob Lilly team. It seemed like we are always like, who's the number one? He's like, nope, and just would switch, every few weeks.
Yeah.
But in your assessment, is it sort of giving the hot hand in practice? Is it sort of tactical? Just everybody gets time? How do you approach that?
No, I mean, you can look at it a few different ways. Obviously, with Bob, if you look at his history, no matter where he was, here, Montreal, Vancouver, Hershey, he'll always try to get his other guys, backups and third strings, 5 to 10 games roughly a year. He wants to keep them sharp as well. So that's just kind of one dynamic of Bob's philosophy, if you will. another piece of that is also what at that moment our number one is or isn't doing, and that was a little bit of what led into Gabby's been training well, so's Jacob, so's Eric, but Eric's gotten the first 8 games. He's made some big saves for us, but he's also been inconsistent. Um, and we need whoever it's going to be. We need our starting goalkeeper to be consistent week in week out. We meet, as I like to say, we need the meat and potatoes every weekend, and that's where we are with it at the moment. I've chatted with Eric, sat down with him, and said, this is the reasoning, and we whoever is going to emerge is, again, doesn't need to stand on their head every weekend for any of Bob's teams over the history. We just need you to be solid and consistent, and right now it's in Gabby's hands. But that's when I say that, I mean as far as for now, and
Yeah.
and who knows where that goes from here. It's our biggest thing is we want somebody to emerge and say, I'm the guy, and cut out some of the mistakes and just be that consistent guy. And whoever decides to step up in that situation is probably going to get a good run of games.
Yeah, makes sense. Any injuries of note heading into this week?
Yeah, I have a toenail, but no, no. Listen, as far as I know, but it's playoff hockey time, so
Yeah,
I'm not gonna discuss anything with you.
fair enough. That works. Obviously, we get North Carolina at home this weekend. Any thoughts on them as a team and their return to the championship?
Yeah, they're a good team. They're well organized. They've got some dangerous players. They're well coached. One of my good buddies is actually one of the assistant slash goalkeeper coach, Mike McGinty, down there. So there might be a little side wager in beer on this thing. But no, listen, every team in this league is good. There's no easy games, and it doesn't matter about people's records. We've watched them on tape. We've looked at their stats and their possession ratios and things like that, and they're a good team. It's going to be a battle for us.
You mentioned earlier about sort of doing your research on shooters and things like that, and passing that on to the keepers. Do you end up doing any sort of research on the opposing team's keepers and then passing that on to the on-field players at all?
Sometimes, if not specifically all the time, but if I know a goalkeeper has a certain style,
Mm,
or doesn't like crosses or things like that, that are trends that we see, I'll have a chat with, if it's something on a free kick, I'll have a chat with Robbie or Kenny, or if you think back to last year, it was New Mexico, at home. I think the first corner we put in, the keeper didn't come, and it was pretty tight to the line. And before the second one, which we actually scored on, I called Kenny over and I said, "Listen, just put this one on top of him." So little things like that we might see in video, or we might see live. I'm If you know me and you know anything about me, I love everything about goalkeeping. I could care less about the other field players, if I'm being honest. But my mind is thinking goalkeeping 24/7, and so I'm always paying attention to everything ours are doing and everything the opponents are doing as well.
Love it. Um, John, I really appreciate you taking the time to give us a little sneak peek into what's going on there prior to the game tomorrow. Obviously, best of luck. Here's to a shutout or a clean sheet for
That
whoever's in goal.
that would
We'll
be
make
nice.
sure you get some credit for that, and hopefully, we talk to you again really, really soon.
Yeah, would love to come back on.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.